Hey guys, it's Josh from the High Hole Scramblers. You haven't seen me in a while because I've had a busy life. But here I am flying, tying a fly, flying a tie, you know? And we're gonna tie Lance Egan's Rainbow Warrior. Probably been our most successful fly of the year, last couple years. I'm gonna tie it in a size 16, but I most commonly do this in a 20 or 22. You can do it as a point fly and it'll get down and the fish will for sure see it and hopefully nail it because they just love it for some reason. I am gonna do this video as if like this is your first week in fly tying because I wish I had a little bit more of that when I started, and I'm still a noob myself. So if you're a veteran tyer and you watch this video, you're gonna see stuff I probably do wrong, but that's okay. It's all about having fun and getting your own flies into the water, which is awesome. So this is a size 16 jig hook. It's a Hannock 450 BL. And nowadays, basically every manufacturer makes a nice jig hook. So we're not sponsored by anyone, so you go find a hook that speaks to you and fits your budget and fish it. I'm gonna put a 3.0 millimeter tungsten slotted bead in silver. I like to use my hackle pliers to do this, the small hole down, and I want the small hole to go first right in there. Oh gosh, we'll edit. Well, no, we won't edit that. We'll just leave it because this is what it's actually like. All right, so just line up that hole and get her on there. You kind of rotate it a little bit so that the slot wants it to go down. And then we're gonna reorient normally into our vise. Okay, this is UTC 70 denier in red thread. It works. It's the classic thread. Lays flat if you want it to, rolls up if you don't want it to. I'm going to kind of wedge this bead up against with just some wraps right behind the bead. You want the slot side to be up on this. And then we'll make our way back down. Okay, first material we're gonna do is some good old-fashioned CDL, or Coq de Leon. As you can see, this is almost done. I've used it a lot for many different flies. This is a good material to get. It's cheap and it's fishy. So I'm gonna take off exactly 6.3 fibers from there. Now you just do whatever you think looks good. Okay, so I got it in this hand. You can see the tips are here. I'm gonna hold it by the tips with my left hand. So I'm holding it there, and I go at kind of a right angle here up against here, because when I pull my thread around, it's gonna wanna pull all those materials up to the top, and that's what I want. So let's do that. Just a couple loose turns, and see, lays right on the top of the fly. Now right here, if I wanted, I can kind of hold this a little bit and just adjust. I like it to be shorter. So go about just like that. I'm actually gonna go back on this a little bit because I like the tail to go just at the, where the hook starts to curve down. So you can see I want it to go down just a little bit. And then we'll make our way back up. I'm gonna leave that material, I'm not gonna cut it out right now because I want it to use it to make a nice even underbody. When I first started tying, I would cut everything off right away and I'd get these lumps under the thread because the material was then missing. I like to go kind of right up against the bead so that it wedges. That's just another thing keeping that bead stable. Okay, we'll cut it off. And then our second material is going to be Vivus tinsel in pearl and size large. This stuff seems counterintuitive, but I use the size large all the way up to like 18s and 20s. It overlaps better when you thread it up your hook shank, and it is a tougher material to do this with. So I'm holding it by the tip. I'm going to start right behind the bead. Kind of hold it steady and get a few wraps over it, and then you're good. You can use the thread if you kind of angle it towards you to jam each thread loop up against the next, so it'll make a nice smooth underbody. Okay, and then we're going to make touching turns coming right back up. This is starting to cord up a little bit, so I'm going to counterclockwise turn my thread and flatten out that UTC 70 denier. Okay, I'm going to make a really slight taper, so I'm just going to go back like one time to get a little more tapered. Doesn't need to be too dramatic. Thin to win, that's what I've heard. I don't know if that's true. I've never related to that as a large Norwegian man. So just put one little knot in there. You could do a half hitch. I don't know why, but I just have my whip finisher right there, so I prefer to use it. Now with this stuff, we're gonna wrap it up the shank of the hook. So some people want to just go like this with one hand. That's gonna make this twist up and not lay flat for you. So you wanna transfer to each hand, over and under, and that's gonna make for a nice, you're gonna have good control, and you're gonna be able to overlap those thread wraps a little bit so that this fly is nice and tough. Okay, let's cut that, or let's tie that off. We're not gonna cut it off yet. Do a couple in the front here. And then you wanna lay this same material, leave it in right over the top. Just a few things, right back about a third of the way down the shank. Okay, and then we'll just leave this hanging out here. You can put it in your material clip if you'd like. One of the last materials we're going to use, I don't have the label on it anymore, but is Rainbow Sow-Scud dubbing. This stuff is really great for this. It's what the original recipe calls for, and it works. So pretty sparse amount. We don't want it to be too crazy. Also another thing, I like to just I learned this from Fly Fish Food, just cut off the corner of your dubbing bag and pull from it, because then it kind of straightens out all the fibers, which is kind of cool. Okay, I had a lot of trouble with dubbing when I started tying, so what I do is I like them all kind of going in the same direction. You put it onto the thread and then you go the same direction. So lift up and get it nice and tight. Most people when they start use way too much dubbing and don't get it tight enough onto the thread, the noodle. So you want a nice, thin, tightly wound dubbing. We're going to bring that back here and dub it in. I'm using that to kind of jam right up against that bead. So we got the dubbing underneath. We've got our Vivas tinsel coming out the back. We're going to use that as a little flash back on this fly. So we're just going to bring it over. I like to use my left hand. I'm right-handed. I use my left hand to kind of secure it like that. And then we go over and tie right over it and try to keep it in place. And then I bring it back and I put a couple in front of it as well. Just like that. Now to get this off clean, what I do, everyone's a little different here, but I like to just nick the corner with my scissors and then just pull it off. So now we're just making a little bit of a hot spot. Just a little trigger for the fish to say, ooh, I want a bite of that. And then we're gonna do a whip finish. I do 3 turns. Everyone's different on that though. Okay, and then secure it nice and tight before you cut it. You could choose to put a little resin on here or head cement. A lot of people don't have that when they're first starting out, and you can fish this fly just like it is. But fish it have fun with it, catch a bunch of fish. You should probably subscribe to our channel and like this video, and then comment every time you've caught a fish so that we have 8 billion comments on this video, because that's how many fish you're gonna catch. Thank you guys for watching our channel. We're gonna have some more fly tying videos here soon that I think we actually use and you're gonna dig. So once again, this is Josh from the High Hole Scramblers, and I want to say thank you for watching this video. Bye. Love you.